Yeah, welcome in. Say it with me. It is Hump Day, people, and thank you so very much for stopping by, hanging out with us here today on the Wednesday, and we've got much cooking. Certainly in the 305, we've got all sorts of things happening, rumors and innuendos. Jimmy Butler, is he coming to the Miami Heat? Is he not coming to the Miami Heat? We are going to talk to the people who have been on this story from day one, and Woj and none of the big, none of the national guys wanted to give them any credit, but the reality is the guys at 5 Reasons Sports, along with the Heat Beat podcast, they have been on this from day one, talking about Jimmy Butler wanting to come to the Miami Heat. But we heard Clippers, we heard everybody but the Miami Heat, and we hear today from Mark Stein that in fact his destination choice, this being Jimmy Butler, is to get the hell out of Minnesota. And who can blame him there? Have you ever been to Minnesota? No. You definitely want to come to Miami. We've got Gabrielle Union. We've got sunshine. We've got all sorts of things to be excited about here in Miami that you don't have in Minnesota. And it'll be a lot of fun. And the guys at 5 Reasons Sports have been on this. So we're going to talk to our man, Alphonse Sidney, from the Heat Beat podcast. We're going to figure out what's going on. Is he coming? Is he not? What are the Heat willing to give up? Where do you draw the line, if any, when it comes to making a move like this for Jimmy Butler? I mean, Pat Riley is cooking up a witch's brew, something going on up at the AAA arena, and Pat Riley once again is going to do the unthinkable. He's going to land a top 10 player in the league. He's going to reshape the franchise, and at the same time, he's going to unload all of those horrific contracts that he's handed out over the last couple of summers. He's going to be able to wipe the slate clean, and only Pat Riley can do that. And it's just amazing. But we'll keep you posted. We're going to talk to Alphonse Sidney here in just a couple of minutes. Do want to let you know also that this is how you reach us here on the show, 855-WTF-2255. That is your Miami Acura hotline. And also, just to let you know, we're streaming here across every platform. We are on Twitter. We are on Periscope. We're on Facebook. We are on YouTube, all live at WTF Sports TV. We would love for you to subscribe and follow us. Make us a part of your day. We'd certainly appreciate the support. You have no idea how much it truly means to us that you guys hang out with us, check us out. And don't forget, if you don't have a chance to see it live each and every day at 4 o'clock, you can always see the replay. That's the beautiful thing about streaming. You don't have to worry. You can come back and get it at any particular time. And I'm looking forward to this interview on what's happening with the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler. So Alphonse Sidney, he'll be joining us here in just about 5 or 6 minutes. We're going to get him on. The other big story here today is coming in college. Alphonse, I don't mean to include you in on this. Kelly Bryant and Clemson. That is correct. They are making headlines. Dabo Swinney is throwing bombs earlier today on his ACC teleconference. And if you've missed it, they made the decision, Clemson that is, has made the decision that Kelly Bryant was no longer going to be the starting quarterback, and the fact that they were going to go with the freshman, the kid Lawrence, who is just been nothing short of absolutely amazing. And when the decision was made, because up to this particular point, they had been switching back and forth, and they've been doing a lot of Trevor Lawrence has been playing, and then, the kid's coming in there. Kelly Bryant's playing, then he's playing a series. So they've been doing this whole back and forth thing over the year. But ultimately, Dabo Swinney, as in the rest of the football viewing world, has realized that this kid, Trevor Lawrence, the more that he is out on the field, the better chance Clemson has of winning football games. So the minute that Kelly Bryant figured this out and was told that he is no longer going to be the starter, he makes the announcement that he is going to transfer, that he is out of Clemson. And the reason he gave was priceless. He said that he wasn't given a fair shot this year to win the quarterback job, and that he feels it's kind of a slap in the face. And what's a slap in the face is that you played 18 games as a starter, okay? You had 18 games to prove that you deserve to be the starting quarterback for this team. You're a good player. The problem is the freshman Trevor Lawrence is a great player. And when you look at the numbers side by side, it's not as if Kelly Bryant was bad. Kelly Bryant was very good. The numbers would be good enough to start on any of the top 25 teams outside of Alabama, whose Tua is just in a class all his own. But when you look at what Kelly Bryant has done this year, like Miami would take, and you think Mark Richt would take Kelly Bryant in a heartbeat. Miami Hurricane fans would take this kid in a heartbeat over Malik Rozier. But Dabo Swinney has realized that this kid Lawrence is out of his mind. And we all knew this was a possibility heading into this year, that Clemson, they had old reliable Kelly Bryant, but this kid Trevor Lawrence was going to be something really special. And as good as Kelly Bryant has been in the opportunities that he has had out on the field this year, Trevor has just been great. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Kelly Bryant, you're good. Trevor Lawrence, you are great. You are in a class all your own. And when you see that kind of greatness, if they were both, if it was a parallel situation, then you keep Kelly Bryant, the upperclassman, and then Trevor Lawrence, you're a freshman, your turn will come. But the problem is you've got an upperclassman who did very, very well, and you've got a freshman who can light up the record books at Clemson. And who knows what's going to... You better have a quarterback if you're going to be going up against Alabama in the national championship. And Alabama, by the way, is the best college football team they have ever had at Alabama, and that is saying a lot. This team looks ridiculous. You're going to need a Trevor Lawrence, and you're going to need some game experience in him if that is ultimately the destination that you are going to land. But maybe the best part about this story today was Dabo Swinney, when asked on his ACC teleconference call, what do you think about, what do you think about the kid, Kelly Bryant, saying he wasn't given a fair shot? And his response was, this isn't middle school. And I nearly pissed my pants when I said it. When I read it, I was like, that is absolutely perfect. It is certainly a Dabo comment. It is something that we have come to know and love about Dabo Swinney. He doesn't pull any punches. The dude loves his players. Dabo Swinney generally loves his players, but I can promise you the fair shot comment is not a right narrative for this. You were given 18 games as a starter to be able to make things right and prove yourself. And unfortunately, the kid just did a better job than you. And the reason, and this is the good thing about, and there aren't many good things about the NCAA, but the good thing about this is that the NCAA has put this rule into effect so kids like Kelly Bryant will not get penalized. They can transfer and still have a year of eligibility with them. So for his future and for the future of if he wants to play in the NFL as a quarterback, the NCAA has put this rule in place. This is his last year in college. He wants to play, and I can understand why people would be looking at this and going, this is selfish on his part, but he wants to play. I get that. Anybody that's ever suited up in any sort of athletic game and competition, you want to play, especially as a quarterback. But he's not going to get that chance to play, and the reality is it makes sense for him. Go somewhere where you can play. And Dabo Swinney made the right call. 100% made the right call. Trevor Lawrence is your starter. He's going to be your starter for the next 3 to 4 years. It's just he's better, period. And it's not a reflection on Kelly Bryant. You're good. And like I said, the Miami Hurricanes would take you in a heartbeat. They would rather you under center than Malik Rozier or N'Kosi Perry. You're better than both of them. But the reality is you had a kid that came into that program that is... He's 100% better than what you are. And it's not a knock on you. It's just you don't see that kind of talent coming across very often. And when you do, the decision has to be made. You got to go with him. You just have to go with him. Nobody likes being second best, but the reality is that's what you are on that team, Kelly Bryant. So kudos to Dabo Swinney for taking it head on and letting the kid know, listen, man, it's not about fair. This isn't intramural. We're not middle school picking teams and everyone's got to play like in a little league. No, it's big boy football, especially at Clemson. And if you're going to try and win a national championship this year, your ass is going to meet Tua and what's going on at Alabama there, and you better have a guy that can go toe-to-toe with them, and Trevor Lawrence can do that. If you haven't seen the kid play yet this year, do yourself a favor and watch him. The kid is out of control. Two other stories quick as we wait for... We will get, Sidney, Alphonse Sidney is going to join us here in just a couple of minutes. 5 Reasons Sports Network, Heat Beat Podcast. The news of Jimmy Butler is running rampant. Coming to Miami. Is he coming to Miami? Is he not? Are the Heat going to be able to pull this off? We are going to talk to him in just a couple of minutes, that being Alphonse Sidney, and get the latest on that. I do want to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo, though, real quick. Jimmy Garoppolo. My, oh my. Jimmy, we know, has blown his ACL out, so he is done for the year. And there's a lot of people, including the San Francisco 49ers current quarterback, C.J. Beathard, who has gone on record saying that he's praying for him, that he loves him, and that, you know, this is going to be a season dedicated to Jimmy Garoppolo. Unfortunately, it looks like one of Jimmy's ex-girlfriends doesn't seem to have that same attitude. In fact, it was reported in the New York Post that his former girlfriend, Alexandra King, and that is her right there, that is Alexandra King, which, you know, if you're going to go back and forth from that to porn stars, God bless you, Jimmy Garoppolo. But basically, she hopped on her Instagram right after Jimmy blew his leg out in the game against the Chiefs and simply put one word on her post, karma. And then put a smiley emoji face. So congratulations there. Garoppolo and King have appeared to be an item way before the quarterback was traded to the San Francisco 49ers from the Patriots. She is from Boston. She's based out of Boston. That appears to be where they met each other. And, yeah, it looks like she is not praying like C.J. Beathard is for a speedy recovery. She is actually kind of happy that your ass got caught up there and blew your leg out. Serves you right for hanging out with damn porn stars. Not even good-looking porn stars at that. I mean, honestly, do we even have a picture of her? Yeah, let's see what this looks like. Let's take a look at what the porn star looks like that Jimmy Garoppolo is hanging out with. Oh, there it is. A total dumpster fire. All right. And you don't want any of that. I can promise you, Jimmy, you don't want any of that. Should have stuck with her. That is for sure. All right, let's bring him on. Let's do this. We're excited to have him here. That is for sure, because especially when the evil genius Pat Riley is cooking up a batch or whipping something up over there at the AAA arena, and the news about Jimmy Butler continues to grow, and nobody better to be able to talk to about what's happening right now, the latest, than Alphonse Sidney, 5 Reasons Sports, the Heat Beat podcast co-host. He joins us via the Miami Acura hotline. And first things first here, Alphonse, not for nothing, but you guys have been talking about this the minute the story broke with Wojnarowski, and he didn't mention the Heat, but you guys kept mentioning the Heat, and a lot of the national media, a lot of people locally going, ha, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Apparently you know what you're talking about, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, not me personally, but we have guys in the network who are very plugged in. I mean, the head of the network is Ethan Skolnick. He's been down here for a while, and I don't think anybody should really be questioning his credentials. And we right from the beginning, when Woj comes out with 3 teams, we came out right off the bat and told you those 3 teams aren't it. The Heat are involved. There's mutual interest. Jimmy wants to be in Miami. That came out today. Jimmy's agent leaked through Mark Stein that his preferred team now is the Miami Heat, which is funny because he wasn't on those 3 teams that Woj initially mentioned. So it's kind of like, I really would hope that going forward that people take some of the stuff with a grain of salt. Remember where the source is coming from. Where is the information coming from? When you hear 3 teams with maximum space this summer, that's coming from an agent who wants his client to get as much money as humanly possible. But as things have developed, we kind of see where this has gone.
And we got to keep in mind, too, as of Wednesday here today, he is still a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So they don't have to do a damn thing. Tom Thibodeau has He's been running a lot of misdirection, telling people that, you know, he's a member of this team. He's signed. It's not as if we are looking to trade him, and he doesn't necessarily want to be held hostage by Jimmy Butler demanding a trade. But the reality is, the last thing Tom Thibodeau needs going into getting ready for the season right now is a disgruntled star player who must not be getting along. There's got to be some other drama going on in that organization for Jimmy Butler to want out this bad, right?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of rumors, some scandalous things with girlfriends and stuff like that. I mean, that's that TMZ stuff that I really don't want to get into. But there's, you know, it's a lot. There's the reports are him and Kat don't want to play together. Karl Anthony Towns. And if, you know, you have to, when you look at your future, you see Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, and you see Jimmy Butler, you're going to go with, you know, the 23 and 24-year-olds. And, you know, you're going to say, if you guys can't get along, we'll see what we can get back for Jimmy. And that's the thing with these lists. Just like you said, Jimmy doesn't dictate where he goes. He doesn't have a no-trade clause. But his reluctance to re-sign with the team will kind of affects what a team will offer for him. So if he's going to say, you know, I'm not going to re-sign with the Toronto Raptors, why would Toronto give up anything significant for him? So that's the only way Jimmy can kind of control the narrative on this is to say things like, yeah, I won't re-sign there or I will re-sign here. So if his agent is leaking that he will re-sign with the Miami Heat this next offseason, what you can kind of infer from that is, hey, everybody else stop putting in bids because the only team I'll re-sign with is the Miami Heat.
Alphonse, Sidney, part of the 5 Reasons Sports Network, also co-host on the Heat Beat. You got to check it out. All right, so let's talk about the Miami Heat. It makes sense to a certain degree. Spo is a great coach. He's got he has a chance of coming here and being the go-to guy, that being Jimmy Butler. He's coming to an organization and a team that is, with him, will be in the middle of the Eastern Conference playoff bunch and push there. So he's got a lot of reasons to want to come here that make sense. The question is, at what point, Alphonse, is it too much for the Miami Heat? In other words, at where do you draw the line is what you're willing to give up to get a Jimmy Butler here?
Okay, this is just, you know, from what I've heard, basically the only guy that isn't on the table is Bam. Besides that, I think everybody else is available. Bam Adebayo, of course, the Heat's second-year center/forward. Now, Josh Richardson is one of those. Hey, we'll get to the end of negotiating before we throw Josh Richardson's name in there. I know they'd like to keep Josh, Justice, and Bam. They're 3 young guys, they're 3 young pieces. I don't know if that's possible. But as things keep progressing, I'm starting to realize more and more. Minnesota lacks a lot of leverage, so this might be able to get done without Josh Richardson. I didn't see that at first. I've tweeted out multiple times that, listen, Josh Richardson's going to be involved in this, and also probably the Heat's 2019 first-round pick. But it might be one or the other at this point. And everything that's signaling right now, what I've heard is that this is going to be a huge deal if Pat Riley gets his way. And we know when Pat Riley goes, he goes big. 3 and 14 deals. Because when you get Jimmy, what you really want to do is you're setting yourself up for next offseason when there's going to be a lot of guys available, and you're going to need a second max slot. And to get a second max slot, you have to start talking about guys like Hassan Whiteside, Dion Waiters, Goran Dragic. You have to get these guys off of your books. And the only way you're going to do that is bringing in the Kings and bringing in the Suns and sending out some picks so that they take some of these, not necessarily bad contracts, because you're not going to call Goran Dragic's contract bad, but with his age and with the amount of years left, if you want to make a move for a Kyrie Irving next summer, you're going to have to clear some of the space.
Yeah, you're not going to have a choice, and we all know that. And like you said, it wouldn't be unlike Pat Riley to bring in a third or fourth team, dump Hassan Whiteside somewhere there in the chain, be able to get that money off the books, and be able to approach next year. And listen, hell, even have a shot at making the playoffs in the Eastern Conference this year. But moving forward next year, put themselves in a position, draft picks or no draft picks, to be able to go out and do some damage in the free agent period. That's and the players that are going to be available then.
Yeah, of course. And then another thing that Ethan Skolnick just reported, Dan Le Batard actually said it earlier. Ethan actually kind of hinted at this last week, or not last week, during Media Day on Monday. The Heat are not very happy with Dion Waiters. And if you've seen some of the pictures out of him and his conditioning situation, you can kind of see why. He looks overweight. He looks out of shape. He had the ankle injury, but that I don't think it's in their minds, it's not an excuse for the shape he's in. And if that's the case, and if they can get a third or fourth team and to get someone to take Dion in this $40 million, I mean, I think that's what's going to happen.
Dude coming in looking like Pablo Sandoval and shit. You know what I'm saying, Alphonse? Like, get your ass in shape, Dion Wade. God damn, get your ass in shape. Otherwise, they will ship you out. And that looks like, whether it be to Minnesota or whoever it may be, when Pat Riley puts an X kind of through your name, they're going to figure out a way to be able to move you. I've seen a lot of people, Alphonse Sidney, by the way, joining us, 5 Reasons Sports, the Heat Beat podcast co-host. Make sure you check out that podcast. If you love the Heat, you want to know what's really going on, stay out of the national papers, head over to 5 Reasons Sports and check out the Heat podcast. And I've been reading a lot, Alphonse. A lot of people have this fascination and this love for Josh Richardson, and not so much the player he is now, but the talent and what could possibly be his potential. And you and I both know it's a very dangerous thing to not make moves based upon somebody's potential. And if push comes to shove, are you, Alphonse, if you are Pat Riley, are you willing to give up Josh Richardson to be able to get a Jimmy Butler right now?
Yeah, 1,000%. And I love Josh Richardson. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm one of these hardcore Heat fans. I fall in love with the players like Josh Richardson, Rodney McGruder, Justice Winslow, Bam Adebayo. I love these guys. These are my team. These are the guys I've been following for the last couple of years, and you get attached to them. But we need to separate the emotional attachment of it and understand that Josh Richardson's absolute ceiling is below Jimmy Butler's floor, and that's what's important. And like, as much as we love Josh, he's a starting player in this league. But, I mean, he might never be an all-star even, much less a superstar. And Jimmy Butler is a consensus top 15 player. And not only that, when you start talking about stature and you start talking about what gets you into the room with other players, the Heat have the culture, they have the coach, but come next offseason, they're not going to have that player that's going to sit with you in a meeting and be able to pitch the franchise, because Dwayne Wade is going to be gone. Now, does Josh Richardson have that? I mean, does he have that stature among players around the league? No, he doesn't. When you start talking about relationships and how you can get free agents in the room, you need a marquee player. And Jimmy Butler is that guy. He has the connections around the league. He's played on the Olympic team. Beyond just talent, we also have to think about the politics of this and the aesthetics of it. Jimmy Butler on your team raises your stature as a franchise.
Without a doubt. And, especially a franchise that is so capped right now with money and cap space and being able to go and do the kinds of things they can do. If he is somehow able to pull this off, I'm talking about Pat Riley, it'll just be another in a long line of moves that Pat Riley and people go, how in the hell does he end up pulling this off? But it is a direction I think we can all agree that the Miami Heat have to. This is the one kind of move that would help eliminate some of the past mistakes and signings that would free up this organization to be able to look to the future and be able to have the pockets to be able to afford some of these players that are going to come available.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Riley has had a few bad summers. subjectively in the eye of the beholder. So how else are you going to get into that room with one of these big-time guys? Because if they don't pull off a trade, they're not going into next offseason with any kind of space. You know, they bring in Jimmy now, then they can re-sign him because of bird rights to a max contract without space. So that's the starting point you have to look at. The first move has to be a trade. And at Uptown Report, part of the 5 Reasons Network, part of the 3 Yards Per Carry podcast, always says that the Jimmy move is about being a move away from being a move away, right? So it's got to start somewhere. And the Jimmy Butler trade is the first move in a series of moves that can actually return the Heat to some kind of prominence.
Now, let me ask you this, all serious, Alphonse Sidney joining us, okay? And what's your gut telling you here? Is Jimmy Butler, is the reason he's coming to Miami Gabrielle Union? Go ahead, say it. Go ahead and say it, Alphonse. Go ahead.
I don't, and as we say on these Twitter streets, I don't think he wants that smoke. I don't think he wants those problems with Dwayne Wade at all.
Yeah, listen, man. There are some fights worth having, but this is just not a fight that is worth having. All right, Alphonse Sidney, there you go. The latest Jimmy Butler. Fingers crossed, Thibodeau, if he ends up pulling this off and decides it's time to move on for Jimmy Butler, now would definitely be the time to do it. And would they play Whiteside and Karl Towns together? I mean, if you were Thibodeau, let's suppose this goes through and now you've got Whiteside and Karl Towns there. Do you just play Towns at the 5 or do you play them? But, like, how does that work?
I think they want to play Towns at the 4 more. Towns is not as big as he is not a good rim defender. And if you know anything about Tibbs, Tibbs loves a rim protector, and he's just not. Karl doesn't count as big as he is. He's just not that guy. He's not going to defend well in the post. He doesn't do that well against bigger players. He likes to roam around the 3-point line. Do I see that being do I see that working necessarily? Hassan and Karl Anthony Towns on the court at the same time? No, not in today's NBA. But, you know, Thibodeau is an old-school guy. He's not known for, you know, pushing the envelope, especially as far as offensively. If you can have 2 bigs in a game at a time and kind of shut things down on the defensive end, slow things down to a grind, you know that's what Tibbs really would love to do.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, and we've talked about this before, it's amazing we're having conversations with about a top 10 player in this league that wants out, and we're not bringing up LeBron James or the Lakers. I think that says a lot. Alphonse Sidney, make sure you check him out. 5 Reasons Sports Network, co-host of the Heat Beat podcast. You got all his information here on the screen at Alf954. Make sure you follow him. My friend, thank you so very much for stopping by. Hopefully next time we talk, we're going to be talking about a whole new Miami Heat team, and the centerpiece is going to be Jimmy Butler.
It'll be amazing, man. Anytime.
That's it. That's Alphonse Sidney. Make sure you check him out. I want to thank him so much for spending a couple of minutes with us here today. All right, when we come back, we've got some more information for you regarding line movements in Las Vegas. If you're planning on laying some action down this weekend, we'll tell you some of the most volatile line movements in Las Vegas for these NFL games. 4 games in particular. We'll run through those. We'll do it coming up next. But first, we want to thank our good friends from Miami Acura for making this all possible. That's right. Take a test drive if you're in the market for a new car. It's the all-new 2019 RDX. The car drives itself. It's an unbelievable ride. You're not going to want to give it back. You're just going to probably take a 3-county chase once you get in it. We're going to have to call the cops. It's going to be an ugly situation, but it's so worth it because driving the all-new 2019 RDX is an experience upon itself. South Dixie Highway in the 305, you guys know where they are. Just head out towards Kendall. You know them. And if you're in the 954 or the 561 or outside, simply call them 855-564-4669. Tell Deborah and the whole gang there, listen, Joe said I got to come and take this thing for a test drive and that you're going to give me a deal of all deals on this car, and that's exactly what they're doing. So take it for a test drive. drive, the all-new 2019 RDX. You are definitely going to be happy that you did. I promise you're going to be happy that you did. All right, coming up, we'll give you those line movements, let you know the latest from Las Vegas. But first, we got to thank a few other of our sponsors here that make all of this happen, including Low Cost Airlines, Superior Cruise and Travel. We thank you guys. They support us. We're hoping that you'll support them. We'll be back in a second.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. That's 800-293-0328.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-761-1427. 800-761-1427. 800-761-1427. That's 800-761-1427.
Get ready to talk sports. It's the Say It With Me podcast. Now here's your host, Joe Raineri.
Welcome back in. Happy Wednesday to you. Can't believe it. It's Wednesday. It's middle of the week. Good news is tomorrow we got Thursday night football. We've got a college game, University of Miami taking on North Carolina, a little ACC action. And, of course, we are going to be joined by our good friends from WagerTalk.com. It is your one-stop shop for everything that is online betting advice. I mean, if you are looking for a particular professional sports handicapper that specializes in whatever sport you're looking to bet on, no better place to go than WagerTalk.com. Some amazing information there. And the legend himself, Ralph Michaels, he'll be joining us on the show tomorrow, 4 o'clock. He'll lay out who he likes this weekend, maybe throw a couple of free picks for you here one way or another. We'll break them down. We'll see if we can't make you some money. But in the meantime, make sure you head over wagertalk.com. Truly is one-stop shopping for everything about sports handicapping. Love those guys. Ralph Michaels tomorrow at 4 o'clock. If you just missed it, if you're just joining us, we did have Alphonse Sidney on from 5 Reasons Sports, the network there, as well as the Heat Beat podcast talking about Jimmy Butler and the chances of him coming to Miami. If you guys didn't get a chance to see the interview, have no fear. As soon as this is done, you'll be able to go ahead and just rewind it. That's the beauty of being here on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, streaming live every day at 4 o'clock. If you miss something, you can just get right to it and speed right through it. It's here all day and all night long. Interesting thing that before we get to some of the significant line movements in Week 4 of the NFL, there was an interesting bit of information that showed up here today by a gentleman called, let me make sure, is it Jason Riley? Yeah, there's his Twitter page right now. Now, Jason Riley works for he's a media, I guess he works for the media in Louisville, and he's been covering, all of the federal investigation, the FBI investigation into college basketball, and he's been tweeting out a bunch of statistics today based upon the papers that were filed in the FBI investigation into college basketball. And a lot of it is some really interesting stuff because it actually looks at the estimated value based off of wins for Kentucky players. He's somehow managed to figure out a way to put the value on what college basketball players, in this case, what Kentucky basketball players, what their value is and how much they should actually be paid. Now, the argument isn't that schools should pay these players. That's simply not what's going to happen or ever will happen. But what should happen is they should let players make money off of their name, their likeness, and their image, those types of things. And when you look at these numbers, especially dating back to 2010 here, I think the numbers don't count ticket sales, concessions, apparel sales, and admissions. And he's looked at it, I guess, and took a look back at the Sweet 16 team from 2010 and 2011. And what he found was somebody like Josh Harrelson was worth $1.2 million during that 2010-11 season in Kentucky. That is a boatload of money. So what this is telling you and what these numbers show you is that these kids, at least these kids back in 2010-11 in Kentucky, their marketability was never going to be higher than what it was for that year. And yet Kentucky, the NCAA, and the university, well, they all made money off of these kids' marketability. The only people that weren't able to profit were the actual student athletes themselves. So I'm just telling you, if you can use a kid's face, his likeness, his appearance, and you can use that to promote your university and to watch the game, and everybody makes money except these kids, that's a load of crap. So it's a great article. Jason Riley, check him out on Twitter there and look at some of these numbers because it's amazing. That kid alone, Josh Harrelson, in 2010 and 11, had a value of $1.2 million to that university and to that team, and he made squat from it. And that's the argument people are having, is that you don't want to pay him, don't pay him, but at least give them something, or give them a cut of what you're making off of their likeness and what they're doing at the university. You're marketing the crap out of them, pocketing all the money, and these kids aren't making any money. So that is the argument here, and some really, really cool stuff to get a whole bunch of free marketing from college basketball players who, very few of them, less than 1%, are actually going to have thriving NBA careers, a whole lot of ones and dones, and you're taking total advantage of them because of an antiquated rule. It's only fair. So I would check it out. Jason Riley, want to thank him very much for coming by. Also, want to talk about some of the significant line movements that we have seen thus far, Week 4 in the NFL season. To me, you've got two that stood right out to me. Number one, the Raiders have moved from a pick'em game to -2.5 against the Cleveland Browns, and the Jets went from getting 9 to getting 7 against Jacksonville. So keep an eye on that. Those two games, plenty of storylines surrounding the lines this week. And when we look at, there's a lot of money coming in on the New York Jets. The Jags have been a whole Jekyll and Hyde situation over the past 2 weeks. They did steamroll Tom Brady and the Patriots, but then they lost to Blaine Gabbert and the Tennessee Titans, so go figure. They should have an easy road to victory here against a rookie quarterback, Sam Darnold, at home. But the sharp money, the sharp bettors, the guys who know what they're doing in Las Vegas, they liked the Jets and the points so much that they've actually shifted that line. They steamed that line to now from a +9 to a +7 for the New York Jets. So the Jets are getting about 40% of the bets, but 60% of the money. And that usually means the guys with the deep pockets who know what they're doing, yeah, they've decided that it's time. It's time to make a move, especially when you've got that kind of line movement. That's crazy. And of course, we told you about the Raiders. The Raiders enter this week winless, although they've been in every game. The Browns only have one loss. Keep that in mind. What are they, 1-1-1 now? But it appears that bettors aren't buying into the whole Cleveland hype and Cleveland defense just yet. It opened up as a pick'em game, and that means that the Browns would be around a 6-point favorite if the game were in Cleveland, but it's not. Cleveland is on the road, and the line quickly started heading towards the Raiders, and I'm talking very quickly. Oakland has reached -3 at one point a little earlier today, -2 after a little bit of buyback, but the line has settled at about 2.5 over the past few hours, and I would suggest head over to wagertalk.com. Check out the latest line movements. But those are the two games that stick out the most. You got a lot of sharp money coming in the Jets when it was at +9. And you've got an awful lot of bettors that are jumping all over the Oakland Raiders bandwagon there. At home, winless, taking on the Cleveland Browns. Keep an eye on these lines. I think we're going to see a little bit more movement. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Jets start, because it's hovering around that +7 mark. That's the key number. We know that. Anytime we can get a touchdown or more, that is a line that you want to look at in the NFL. And we don't know what Jaguars team is going to show up, but we do know that the Sharps in Vegas have no interest in giving the Jets 9 points on the road in Jacksonville. And nobody is buying what Cleveland is selling, especially on the road in Oakland in this week's game against the Browns. So it'll Browns and Raiders. So it's going to be fun to see. We'll have more of this information for you tomorrow. We'll break it down a little more intensely when Ralph Michaels from wagertalk.com joins us at 4 o'clock. Can't wait to talk to Ralph. Always fun to hear what he's got to say. You want to talk about a dude with some useless knowledge when it comes to betting. Nobody's got more useless knowledge of trends and stats than Ralph Michaels. You're going to be blown away. But the guy's also over 60% thus far this year. So you're going to love it. Join us tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Make sure you head over to wagertalk.com. Make sure you check out the latest in the lines and see what's going on over there. But always make sure you tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers. Sign up with us, subscribe with us, tell everyone about us, like us, retweet us, do all of that good stuff. We would certainly appreciate it. And then come back and join us tomorrow, 4 o'clock. We go live once again, and we do it all over, trying to make you some money heading into tomorrow night's Thursday night NFL game and Thursday night college game. Miami taking on North Carolina, ACC. We'll have your winners for you. That is coming up tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Remember, winners hang out here. It's the Joe Raineri Show. Make sure you like us on WTF Sports TV. Have a great day.